Svelte is a free and open source front-end compiler created by Rich Harris and maintained by the Svelte core team members. It has many features that make it different from other front-end frameworks. Instead of using techniques like virtual DOM, Svelte writes code that surgically updates the DOM when the state of your application changes. And it is truly reactive, brings reactivity to JavaScript itself.
Okay, I'm gonna explaining you how to install the framework Svelte. And well, first of all, we are going to go to the official Svelte website. And how you can see right now, we are here. So then you are going to do a click in this site file. How you can see, you are going to download a folder. The name of the folder is template master. So you are going to extract that folder. And when you extract the folder, you are going to move the folder to the file where you have your projects. Okay, then you are going to open the Visual Studio Code, and you are going to open the folder that already you downloaded. Okay, and now over the Explore, you are going to give a right click, and you are going to select the Open Integrate Terminal. And how you can see, there is the terminal. So there you are going to put the command npmi and enter. Then you are going to write the command okay, and then you are going to write the command npm run dev and enter. So this is going to give you an URL to the local server. You are going to open the URL, and how you can see, this is working, and that's it.
When you finish installation of the framework, you will have these two files, main.ts and app.svel. At the first line of the app, you will have this code, scriptline equal to ts. TS is just TypeScript, which is another language similar to JavaScript. And here in the main.TypeScript, we import all the information from app. So here in this part, we just create an instant for app. And in this line, we say that the target will be alt the document, the body of the document. So for that reason, when you finish the installation of the framework, app will be the first page that you will see when you open it. And you will have a welcome message here in this part. Just delete that information and write your code. But it's important to note this, because if for some reason you want to have another first page, you just need to follow this way, import the file and just create an instance, but in this case we have the same structure. We follow this way by default. So app is the first page, and you can see the page here. We have the header, a menu, the content. The content have add the shoes and the information, and we have a footer here, an example footer. So as you can see here, we import the different parts of the page: the content, the footer, the header, and the menu. The name of these parts are components here in Svelte. So if you want to import any component, you just need to use the word import. You just need to give an alias or a name for that import, and you need to use the word from and next the direction of that file. The name can be any. It's not. It shouldn't be the same as the file. You can write anything. So if you want to call an import or a component, you just need to use the word, the name that you give before, the same name, but inside of tags of HTML, the open tag and the close tag. So by this way we got the different parts of the page. But for example, we have the header here in the top, but if we change this part at the end, as you can see, you have the same structure, but the header, well, the header will be here down, here at the end. So it's important to know that this is similar to divs or to block elements. So you have the information here inside, but you can use any order and it will works. But it's important because, well, you need to follow an order according to the result that you want. Okay. So for example, if we go to the content, here we import another part of the page. It's the same way. We use the word import. We give a name from and the direction of that file is this file, and inside of this we have the shoes information, the styles and stuff. Add the stuff here in shoes. So doesn't matter how many times you call the components, it will works. As you can see here, we call the shoes component, and also here we got the content which have the shoes component. So you can repeat this way anytime. You will not have any problem. And well, here in the content, we just have the style for the content. As you can see, we use the style tag and also the script tags. Here in Svelte, we work with the .svelte interface. You can create JavaScript or TypeScript files and others in separate files, but it's not usually to see here because, as we said before, it's easy to import the information. Then in this framework, the way to work is with components. We separate the site by different small files. This is why in this framework we use the style and script tags in the same component. We don't create external style or JavaScript file like in this way because we just have a very small style tag, and it's not very recommended to just create another CSS file just this part. So for that reason we have the style and the script in the same file. Okay, and it's the same thing here. We just have a component but very small code, and we have the styles tag here in the same file. And this part is just a tip. We have the footer and we just have some information here. It's just an example of a footer. And in the footer we have text align center, a padding, a margin 0 auto just to center the footer, a background color, we have the height and the width. And in the letters we have a white color and a font size of pixels, and the font weight and the font family. In this case we use Arial. And now, as you can see here, we import an image, creating variables with the information of the image. And this artist takes the image from the public folder, which is this, of this folder, image. In this folder, public, we save the external files that we want to use in the project, or the files that will be used globally in the project. And as you can see, we have these two files, the global CSS and the index HTML. Here we just have the head of the page, we have the title, and we have some links. And here in the help, in the global.css, we just have the styles for the HTML elements and the styles that we use in the website of the page, sorry. And well, back here in the image address, as you can see, you don't even need to use the public name of the folder. I just exit the src folder, which is this one, and I just go only to the public folder by default. I don't use the name of this public folder. It's just by the file I will be inside, and we just have the name of the logo. Well, we just have a name for the logo, and this name we use here in this part, in the alt. And just to use variables, we just need to use this bracket and the name, and that's all. And here in this part we just have the image and a title, which is just this part, and we just have the styles, a display flex for the header, a background color, a height for the header, and like items at the center. And to the logo we just have the properties or width and height, and we have the styles for the letter. We have a color, a font size, text transfers to make the words in uppercase. We have the weight of border, and we use the font family of Arial, and we have a letter spacing between the words of 3 pixels, and that's all in this part. So here in the menu we just have an example of a menu, and here we're supposed to have the categories. We just have the categories of men and women and kids. It's just an example. We have a position relative to the menu. We delete the styles tag. By default you will have a point at the beginning of the word, but we delete that part. A padding between the options and a background color. No, sorry, this is the padding for the menu, and this is the color for the menu. And for the options, we have a padding left between the words, and the same thing here. And we're here in the line 8, we just have a color, a text decoration of noun, and the font family, which is Arial. It's just, this part is just the style. In here, in shoes, as you can see, we use content. We use CSS grid to make this structure of 4 columns and also the rows. So no matter how many products you add, this part will still work. So we don't need to worry about this part. And I will deactivate this. And we have the same class here, content. We have the grid shows, and here we have the CSS grid. And here we just get the data. And this part is just a brand tag, is an S-band. This part is this one. This S-band have the brand, and this is just this part just have a position absolute, a weight, and a width, and a background color, and just the letters white. And we try to make this part like a product tag. Some websites have this part, but have the price or another information, important information. It's just like a product tag, and we have the name in this part, the name of the shoe. We have the category. No, we have the sport. The category is this one. The price, and just a button with a black hover to make more nice this part. We can see the styles in this part, the position absolute, in the product tab, a display flex, a background color, the font family, in this case we use Helvetica, the font size, and a padding, just to make the background color bigger and to make this product tab. We have the color of the letter, of the brand. We have the text transforms to make the brand in uppercase and a font weight of bold. The color in this case of the letters is black, and we use Arial. The grid shows, here we use the grid template columns, repeat of 4 in a fraction. We use the gap between the products. The gap is just the separation between the different products. This part, this separation. And here in this part, we have the image. We have a width and the height. This part have the image of the product. And the description is just in a red color, and the font weight bold. And the description is the same case, just the text transfer to uppercase, the font weight bold, and the font size of pixels. And this is the same way. We have the display flex, a width, a margin, a height, and a margin cells, and a justified content of a space around. And this line is just to make these two information, the sport and the category, at the same line, not in separate divs. And as you can see in this part, we just have a div for the sport and the category inside, and by this way we have that information in the same line. And well, that's all.
Now we are going to display the data from our API that we created previously. This is what we want to get. To do that, we are going to go to our element called content, and as we can see over here, we have already created the shoes element, and also it is imported. Then we are going to go to this element, and in order to fetch the data on a script, we imported the onMount lifecycle method from the Svelte, and then we create a variable API URL which holds the URL of the REST API that we are going to consume and the items that will be fetched. Next, simply call the fetch method inside the amount method. The fetch method returns a JavaScript promise. This means we can use the assign await syntax to avoid using callbacks. And we can see over here we are using the each block to iterate over the fetched data items. As we see on the edge, we are calling the array that we have already declared and then the items that we want to fetch. So it's going to call all the shoes that we have on the database one by one. Now over here we have a HTML element, and it has a class brand tag, and here we have the style, has a position absolute, a display flex, a background color, the font, the color, and the property text transform uppercase. And then we are pasting the name of the item, and what we get is this. And to get this, we do the same. For example, if we want to get the image, we just have to use the IME element, assign it a class for the style, and then pass the name of the item. In this case, it's photo. And we can do the same for the other elements. We have the P element and a class, and then we pass the item. So we are displaying all the shows that we have on our database. That's it.